I can smell your cunt.
If you've been watching my videos for a while, you probably noticed the Silence of the Lambs poster in the background. It used to be right here. It's kind of hard to miss. It was recently relocated to this wall right here because my camera's autofocus prefers Clarice over my ugly mug. I don't know what that's about, but I've got a surprising amount of feedback and comments regarding that poster. Specifically how it has no business being a prominent background piece in a trans guy's YouTube videos when it is the single most transphobic movie of all time. But is it though? That's what I want to talk about today. Is The Silence of the Lambs transphobic? So the movie is about an FBI agent in training, Clarice Starling, who is sent to interview a psychotic former psychiatrist, Hannibal Lecter, in order to gain his insight and get information that will help the FBI catch another shitnuts killer, the inaccurately named Buffalo Bill.
Do you know why he's called Buffalo Bill? Please tell me. The newspapers won't say.
Well, it started as a bad joke in Kansas City homicide. They said, this one likes to skin his humps.
And that's who all of this is about. Buffalo Bill, aka James Gumb.
Oh wait, was she a great big fat person?
He kidnaps women, keeps them alive for 3 days, incorporating some mandatory skincare.
It rubs the lotion on its skin or else it gets the hose again.
Then shoots them and skins their bodies. After that, he dumps them in the river with the cocoon of a death's head moth lodged in their throats, which I think is actually kind of beautiful and poetic. So what is the issue? Why do people think this is transphobic? You see, Buffalo Bill isn't your average serial killer. He isn't just skinning these women for shits and giggles. He's actually using their skin to sew himself a nice little human skin lady suit because he was denied sexual reassignment surgery. So supposedly, Buffalo Bill is a trans woman. Because when medical transition just isn't an option, skinning people and wearing them as human suits is the next best thing. I mean, Buffalo Bill thoroughly encapsulates the ignorant cis man's idea of what a trans woman is.
Who do you fuck with?
So I can see why the criticism exists, but I don't agree with it. So here's why I think that this movie is absolutely not transphobic, and if anything, it's empowering to trans people. Let me explain. First, I want to say that this movie came out in 1991 and was adapted from a novel, which means that A, this was made during a time when trans topics were not well understood or commonly talked about at all, and B, a lot of important details from the novel were either brushed over or completely left out in order to make this entire story fit into a 2-hour psych thriller movie. Now that being said, let's look at the actual movie. After her first meeting with Hannibal Lecter, Agent Starling is led to a storage locker where she finds the decapitated head of a man with a full face of makeup, along with Buffalo Bill's signature moth cocoon stuck in his throat. So she revisits Lecter.
His dress, makeup. Raspel was a transvestite?
And she's informed that Raspel is not a transvestite. That's my impression. Now let me clarify that Dr. Lecter is a genius, a renowned psychiatrist who knows how people, especially psychopaths, think. So fast forward to our next meeting with Hannibal Lecter, where Lecter addresses the moth.
The significance of the moth is change. Caterpillar into chrysalis or pupa, and from thence into beauty. Our belly wants to change too.
Like I said, it's beautiful and poetic. Starling defends trans people.
There's no correlation in the literature between transsexualism and violence. Transsexuals are very passive.
More like passive-aggressive. Just me. And then there's this.
Billy is not a real transsexual, but he thinks he is. He tries to be. He's tried to be a lot of things, I expect.
Did you catch that?
Billy is not a real transsexual.
Not a real transsexual.
Billy is a real
Cunt.
He is not trans. Buffalo Bill is not transgender. If Hannibal Lecter says he's not trans, he's not fucking trans, my dudes. He's not trans. So the portrayal of the Buffalo Bill character as the ignorant cis man's idea of a trans woman isn't offensive, it's accurate. It fits with the movie and the story. He is literally just a psychotic cis man acting like a trans woman. Lecter even explains why Buffalo Bill isn't trans, and at some point in the movie, we even find out that Buffalo Bill, or James Gumb, was one of Lecter's therapy patients back in the day, when he was practicing as a psychiatrist. So what I'm saying is that if anybody knows the mind and the thinking and the psychology of Buffalo Bill, it is Hannibal Lecter, and he says that he's not trans. So in the story, Buffalo Bill is not trans, and if that's not enough for you, the director even commented on the controversy, addressed it in an interview, saying, "Buffalo Bill wasn't a gay character, he was a tormented man who hated himself and wished he was a woman because that would have made him as far away from himself as he possibly could be." Now, side note, remember that this was the early 90s, so, being transgender was often thought of as just being an extension of being gay. So when the director said that Buffalo Bill wasn't gay, he also meant that Buffalo Bill wasn't transgender. So everyone who was triggered by the character either didn't pay attention to the movie or just chose to believe that despite the facts of the story and the movie and everything, that Buffalo Bill was trans. So let's go with that. Just for argument's sake, let's say that Buffalo Bill is actually transgender. Then the story goes a little bit like this. A trans woman with a violent history and unspeakably difficult childhood is denied SRS and medical transition, so she decides to take things into her own hands by kidnapping women, skinning them, and making herself a human skin suit. Moral of the story, don't deny trans people the proper medical care they need in order to transition, or we'll handle it our own damn self. I mean, I think it's pretty kick-ass. All jokes aside, I really don't think that this movie is transphobic. I think they clarified very well that this is not a trans person, it is a psychotic cis person. But I would like to know what you guys think. What have you seen the movie? If you have, what are your thoughts? Is it transphobic? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Personally, as someone who has studied both film and criminal psychology, I think it kicks all kinds of ass. It is one of my favorite movies. But yeah, that's all I got for you guys. Let's move on to the comment question. Fill in the blank in the comments below. I wish I had known you when blank. And my answer is, you were alive. I wish I had known you when you were alive. But I'm glad I know you now. Fill in the blank in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to let me know your thoughts. If you want to follow me on my other stuff, you can do that. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Is led to a